Hi everyone. So this recording will give you an explanation of Essay 1. So as you can see right now, I am on the Essay 1 homepage. There's a couple of different things on this page that are very important to you. So first of all, the video will appear here up on the top. You have the prompt, which I'm going to discuss in a bit. There is an Essay 1 PowerPoint. I use this PowerPoint during our Confer Zoom session for this week, so you'll be able to see it there, but if you want to take another look at it, it's right there. It has lots of helpful information about essay writing. Then there's a few resources. I did insert Grammarly in here, so this is a tool that can help you fix your grammatical errors. I also inserted a transition web page for transition words. And then, of course, your essay submission. Please note that this essay is due at the end of week 6. Okay, so on to the essay prompt. So prompt is just a fancy word for instructions. So these are the essay instructions. So the purpose of the essay is to write an essay that explains a concept by drawing on your background knowledge of the concept and your own experiences and observations. This essay will engage the reader's interest by identifying and defining the concept, making a point about the topic by connecting to a personal experience, and using logical, organizational, and explanatory strategies. So basically, this is a definition essay. The difference between this and a definition essay is that in this essay, you are going to not only define the concept, but you are also going to use your own personal experiences and observations to help explain the concept. Prompt is the next part. So these are the true instructions of the essay. For this essay, you need to explain information literacy. Tell your reader what information literacy is, why it is important, and include examples of information literacy in education, at the workplace, or in the real world. The essay is 600 words in length. So your topic is information literacy. That's what you're going to define. So if you don't know what that means, I suggest you start conducting some research. Once you learn what information literacy is, the next step is to make a connection to information literacy. Like it says here, either in education, in the workplace, or in the real world. So basically, make a connection to information literacy to anything in your life. Planning your concept essay. Conduct research to enhance your general knowledge of the topic. That's what I just said. So if you don't know what information literacy is, start doing some research. Focus. Narrow your explanation of the concept and decide what major point you want to make about it. So the major point is defining the concept, but then what else about the concept are you going to explain or introduce to your readers? How are you going to connect that concept with something important? The next thing is to make a topical outline of your essay. There is a sample outline that you can use. It's on page 155. So it's something really simple. You are not going to submit that outline to me, but I do recommend that you do take a look at page 155 because that's going to help you break down what you're going to include in your essay, and it's going to give you a really easy guide to follow as you're writing. Make sure that you look at chapter 4 in our St. Martin's Guide to Writing Text, especially page 149, because this talks about how to write the actual essay. So that starts on page 149. And then connect the concept you present with a personal experience. Okay, so it doesn't have to be like anything too overly personal. So just make a connection to the topic with something that is meaningful. And along with that, I do want to say that I would really like for this essay to be written in third-person point of view. So you're not going to use the words I, me, us, you, we. You don't include yourself in the essay. So even though you're going to present a personal experience, as it says here, you're going to write it as if you're just giving an example to your reader. So that's going to be a little bit challenging, but give it a try. You are going to need some outside sources for this essay. You're going to use at least 2 outside sources to strengthen your explanation. And please note that no more than 20% of your essay can be taken from an outside source. So the outside sources, you're going to use them in your essay, but it's going to be a minimal use of those outside sources. You may include no more than 3 short direct quotations. You must include in-text citations for all quoted, paraphrased, or summarized information. And you also must include a works cited page. If you're not completely sure of what a works cited page is, you can look at chapter 24 from the St. Martin's Guide to Writing, or this web page, the Purdue OWL, will give you information on creating a works cited page. Drafting your essay. So like I said, I do highly recommend you create an outline. You have to have a first draft. You're going to revise your draft, proofread for errors, vocabulary, grammar, all of that stuff. What you're going to submit to me is your final draft. Okay? So it says here, you will only submit the final draft of the essay. You will not submit your outline or first draft to me. But I highly recommend that you, of course, have a first draft, read it, revise it, and then create your final draft. Now, please note that the essay format is MLA. So in this class, we use MLA documentation. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I do want to restate that this essay is only 600 words in length, so it's not super long. The other guidelines, I'll come back to MLA right now, but the other guidelines to follow, the essay should be written in third person, like I said earlier. The essay must have a thesis statement. Every essay has to have a thesis statement. And then I also included here that your essay must have the basic features of a literary analysis that are presented in chapter 4, and these are the basic features. I talked about these basic features in our Confer Zoom session. So if you don't remember, you can always go back and take a look at that Confer Zoom session, but they're also in chapter 4. And then the last thing here on this prompt is this downloadable PDF file. So essentially, if you want to print this, you can just download the PDF and print it. So you'll have it on paper. So let me come back to this MLA. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the sample paper. So that link does take us to the Purdue University Online Writing Lab website, which I use a lot in this class. But this is a sample paper. It has a lot of notes throughout the paper. But what I want you to understand is that your essay should be formatted in this way. You have a heading that you've created with your last name and page number that appears on every single page of your essay. Okay? You have a header. This is what we consider a header right here. It's your name, my name, the course, and the date in this particular format. Then you do have a title. Notice that this title is centered. It's not boldface, it's not underlined, it's not in quotes. It's just a very simple title. That's what you have to include. And then your essay begins. So that's going to be the basic format of your essay. Please note that this is double-spaced, 12-point font, and the font should be something like Times New Roman or something similar. So there are a lot of notes throughout this sample essay that you can take a look at, but I'm quickly going to scroll down to show you, first of all, in-text citations. This here is an in-text citation. So they use a direct quote, and they're providing the author's last name and the page number. That's what MLA requires, author's last name and page number, okay? And that happens when you use a direct quote, a summary, or a paraphrase. And if I scroll down all the way to the bottom, I will see the works cited page. Notice that the works cited page is a separate page. It doesn't start here where the essay ends. It starts on the next page. And notice that it continues to have the author's last name, the student's last name, and the page number. The title is Works Cited, centered, just like this. And then the sources begin. So this is the first outside source. The author's last name is Allen. And the source continues on. Notice that the second line of the source and on is indented. Then the second source begins, Baker Gladys. Again, the second line is indented. Third source, Dan Hoff Clarence. 2 lines, the second line is indented, and so on and so forth. The works cited page is in alphabetical order. Notice that. And it's also double-spaced. Okay, so you do have to include a works cited page in your essay. Your works cited page will only have a list of 2 outside sources because that's the only thing you're going to be able to use in this essay. All right, so back to our essay page. Don't forget that this essay is due at the end of week 6, and all the information you need for this essay is in the Essay 1 homepage.